Hello, YouTube. I think this is on. Actually, hey everyone, it's LS. I don't know if this is actually on the main channel or not. Probably, maybe it is on the main channel. Actually, yeah, it probably is on the main channel. Champion buffs. Rapid fire bonus attack speed increased 50 to 110% to 65 to 125%. This is really big for solo lane Tristana. There's no if and or buts about it. While this is also obviously good for, Tristana in the later stages of the game, just getting 15% attack speed randomly at level 2. Well, sometimes level 3. So, sometimes level 4 even, actually, depending on how the lane trades are going with, like, EWE maybe. But just getting 15% extra random attack speed is actually just insane, especially for turret taking potential. So it's really big for mid and top Tristana, not as big for bot Tristana. Zoe, Spell Thief minion drop rate increased by a little bit. Sleepy Trouble Bubble base damage increased as well, 60 to 220 plus 40% AP, to 70 to 230 plus 45% AP. Not the end of the world. Again, after the durability update and some of the other things, Zoe still probably kills you in roughly the same rotations, so it doesn't impact what's preventing Zoe from coming back into the meta. She did get the buff to her Q, and then obviously this minor damage increase can help a little bit in mid game before anything's like super going nuts, but it doesn't change the fact that Zoe is still predominantly like a one item champion right now, 1-2 item champion. She's the same champion, which is why I do think that she should just be played support more likely than mid lane, but it's obviously very difficult. Aurelia armor growth increased 4.2 to 4.7. Base magic resistance increased to 28 to 30. That's obviously really nice for Aurelia. Caitlyn, headshot AD ratio against champions increased to 60 to 110 to 60 to 120 based on levels 1, 7, 13. Ace on the whole damage now increased 0 to 25% based on critical strike chance. These are really big things for Caitlyn, mostly on like all-in trades and some of the combos. It's very nice. Is it going to make Caitlyn come back into the meta? Absolutely not. Caitlyn had a lot of indirect nerfs with the itemization, the itemization as well as her ratios, which impacted her wave clear and then some of her just natural lane shoving capabilities and like trade capabilities. So getting some of the stuff tied into her passive and her R, having a little bit more of an execute. In most cases, a lot of Caitlyn's kill lanes, if they landed a snare from Caitlyn's ally, the target was dead anyway. So most notable, it was Caitlyn Lux, right? So if Lux landed the snare and then Caitlyn landed the trap and then, they did all the combos together, the person was usually already overkilled. Getting the critical strike chance even at that point of the lane doesn't typically do anything because you don't have that. You just don't have critical strike chance. So this is mostly mid-game buffs, and mid-game is not what is preventing Caitlyn from being picked. Kai'Sa, passive second skin base damage increased 4 to 16 to 5 to 23. Cool. Passive second base skin per stack increased 1 to 8 to 1 to 12. Ikethean Rain AP ratio increased from 25 to 30%. Killer Instinct passive ratio increased 90% to 120%. Doesn't do anything for Kai'Sa, just placebo buffs, getting ready for Worlds. They do need to sell Kai'Sa skins, so maybe expect some Kai'Sa buffs in 12-17 or 12-18, 12-19, the Worlds patch. Maybe they need to sell Kai'Sa skins. Jace from Arcane, probably not going to get too many buffs before Season 2 comes out, so expect buffs maybe in preseason if Arcane's going to actually come out next year in 2023. But anyways, base armor 22 to 24. Q melee to the skies base AD ratio 122, so he gets 10% on that, which is actually kind of nuts. And then R ranged melee transform Mercury Hammer base AD ratio 25 to 30%. Jace still has really good itemization, and then again, even the durability update, they made lane bully stronger as long as they played well. So I think these are actually really good buffs for Jace. Removed from the patch, they saw what's happening with Usurper 500 right now in Korean solo queue. Who's Elite 500 is doing very, very well, so very, very happy for him, and on his stream he's doing a Korean bootcamp right now. He's doing very well. Passive Granite Shell cooldown reduced 10 to 6 to 8 to 6. That's massive for Malphite. What? That is, it makes him so much harder to hurt in lane. W Thunderclap cooldown reduced 12 to 12. This is so big for Malphite versus AD champions. His W being up this much more often. Because some people might not know that versus AD champions, Malphite maxes W first in some matchups. And because you just max W first, you're not getting any, extra stuff except for the scaling on it, right? But now you're getting CDR on it, and the Granite Shield is up way more often in the early laning phase. This is so weird. Oh my lord. Obviously, in the later stages, you don't really care, right? Rank 3, Granite Shield. It doesn't really matter all that much, but definitely the early ranks, right? The 10 and the 9, the 8, the 7.5, that's really big. So our Grasping Grooves cast lockout reduced 0.5 to 0.4 random to 0.15, okay. Champion nerfs. So these are the nerfs. Burst Fire. AD ratio reduced 105 to 125 to 100 to 120%. Ultra Shock Laser AP ratio is gone. That's cool. W Ultra Shock Laser AD ratio is down by 30% per Riot August. So these are very big Zeri nerfs. I think if people learned to draft better and looked at like comps that were better against her, things would definitely be better. The thing is that, as I was just saying on the LCK co-stream that I'm currently doing this live during, is that Zeri is sort of like the Neo Ezreal in that she fits into a lot of team comps because she's very malleable in terms of how she's able to play and the type of champions that she's able to go along with. These are definitely noticeable nerfs. The AP ratio thing doesn't really matter. The Ultra Shock Laser AD ratio isn't why you're picking Zeri in mid and late game. It is just something that happens to occur when you are playing. So I think Zeri is still going to be fine. I don't know why Riot is so reluctant to actually just tag her after everything that's been going on since spring. Yuumi. Zoomies, move speed AP ratio reduced plus 6% per 100 AP to 2% per 100 AP. Okay. That's, I mean, it's noticeable. Cooldown increased 12 to 8 to 12 to 10. That is also noticeable as well. So these are directly being tagged in the mid game. And there are a lot of Yuumis that are very sinful and they like max Q or something. So for those Yuumis, it's not as, damaging early. But for the Yuumis that do like Q to 3 and then max C or just outright max C, it is going to be a little bit more painful. Draven, spinning axes, base damage reduced 45 to 65 to 40 to 60. Not the end of the world. Draven got a lot of other buffs. Go to his patch history. Draven is being picked right now as a byproduct to other meta champions. Draven is very good in laning phase versus 3 of the most popular ADCs. Draven by himself is not good. If you can't flex him mid or top lane or something, he shouldn't be able to be coming out proactively inside of draft. He is a response ADC pick, and he's oftentimes actually being incorrectly picked even in pro play in the most recent weeks across all regions. So these changes don't impact everything, especially when the champions like Zeri are getting nerfed, which is one of the champions that he is good against, and this is not enough to move him from why he's being picked against Kalista and Sivir. So it doesn't really matter. Draven got a lot of other buffs. This just hurts like solo lane Draven more than it hurts anything else, but it's fine. Poppy, hammer shock damage against monsters reduced 50 to 170 to 30 to 150. So her clear is down a lot more. She's going to end up being a more sinful jungler. Champion adjustments. Passive Moonsilver Blade damage adjusted 20 to 250 based on level, plus 50% AP to 20 to 220 based on level, plus 55% AP. Okay. So it gives her AP, which doesn't do anything because her clear is still going to be slow because she doesn't have enough AP. I mean, you're taking 30 out of her. You're taking 30 out of her base, which is just disgusting. So 5% AP. Like, is Riot joking? This isn't just nerfing tank Diana. This is nerfing AP Diana as well. Like, this is just so weird. Lunar Rush AP ratio increased 45% to 50%. Who cares? System buffs. Evan Shroud. How do you say that? Is that a word? What does that word mean? Wait, what? Wait. Glitter Sparkle. Flash of Wit. How do you pronounce this?
Coruscation. 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 Coruscation.
Coruscation. Okay, it's a noun. I've never seen this word in my life. Okay. Bonus damage duration increased 4 to 5 seconds. Okay. ARM changes, don't care. Guardian, all right, don't care. All right, so this is all fine. The problem is that I was very depressed when I came back and I did 12.15. I thought 12.15 was the worst patch all year. I thought Riot had made a game developer like philosophy change, and I thought they were going to try to proactively more shift the meta. It is evident from 12.15, as well as reading the changes here on 12.16, that is not the case. The Udyr rework obviously will come out, and perhaps something will happen there, but it's very unfortunate watching the last couple of weeks of League of Legends, where I've been gone for the past 6-7 weeks, and noticing that effectively almost nothing changed. The drafts are very stale, the same champions are being picked and rotated almost endlessly, a lot of the draft patterns are very similar, etc., and it does seem like Riot does not care. They made the statement that they would not be releasing any more major patches before Worlds. And so now we reach the phase of holding out hope that for Worlds, Riot does once again end up doing a very large patch right before Worlds. Because otherwise, like, This is just nonsense. And again, it's not Riot's fault. I talked about this in the Pro Play Stagnation video that I did on YouTube way back in February or March, where I ended up saying it's not Riot's fault. The current balance of the champions right now is at an all-time high in terms of how many effective champions can be picked inside of draft, given certain circumstances and willingness to intentionally pick, BIS number 2 or BIS number, it's not best in slot, but maybe second best in slot, third best in slot, fourth best in slot, because the opponents aren't practiced against those champions, so you get the upper hand and stuff like that, and practice and everything else like that just isn't happening. So it's a very weird, unfortunate situation. So we're, again, dependent on new champion releases like, Nyla, oh my god, why am I forgetting? And now obviously Udyr rework, and then we look forward to the new champions that are also going to be coming, Cassante, right? And then there's the other one. There's the Darkin and there's the Shuriman guy that's supposed to be coming, and so hopefully they come out, because that's the only way that we get stuff nowadays in pro play, guys. It's literally reworks. Does anyone notice this? Ahri rework, Zeri new champion, right? Look at Udyr. Udyr's gonna be a rework, right? Nyla, whatever. It's a rework. So many things. We are dependent. Senna, Aphelios. We are dependent on new champion releases to get something going in the meta. And as soon as these new champions are nerfed, what ends up happening is the champions from Season 7, Season 6 just come right back. And it looks very, very, very similar. It's the same champions, all pro players just rotating 7, 8 champions almost on a cycle, on a repeat, right? Because it's their most played champions for years. When they play solo queue after scrims, they just want to play a champion that's fun to them. They don't want to learn new champions. That's why we don't get Fiddlesticks. That's why we don't get Karthus. That's why, it's the same reason why when you look at someone's, match history on whatever app you use, you notice that it doesn't matter. You click Season 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. They are playing these same exact champions, the same ones in solo queue. They typically do the same things inside of champions queue. And when the meta champions are nerfed, or a Faker didn't just play something new this week, what ends up happening is they just go down their list. Is Lee Sin really popular again? Oh, well, I have 3,000 Rek'Sai games. Let me try Rek'Sai, and maybe Rek'Sai is not good enough. Wukong was a rework. Wukong, very popular. Viego, another new champion. Like, at what point do we just realize that we are dependent on these reworks and on these new champions? Because otherwise, the meta just ends up cycling to what was their old, top 7 champions in solo queue. That's all that's happening everywhere globally. You're not seeing Karthus. You're not seeing Fiddlesticks. You're not seeing Evelynn. You're not seeing, like, other, mid lane champions. You're seeing things that are contradictory as well, like Lissandra into Ahri, even though at one point in time Ahri was considered a counter to Lissandra. You're seeing things that just don't make sense when you go back in time and you compare statements and, all this other stuff from pro players and whatnot. And then it takes people like Faker to play champions before other people will just willingly pick it up. And again, this isn't a practice issue, because if a brand new champion comes out, magically every single pro player can play it. Okay, it only takes apparently a week for every pro player to just start playing it in LCS, LEC, LCK, LPL. A rework comes out, totally changes the champion. Everyone can play it in a week. So, I've said before that, other champions like Veigar, if Veigar was released as a brand new champion with the same exact abilities and he was deleted from everyone's mind, he would eventually be played. He would be in pro play. He would be in pro play again. Same skills, same abilities, same name, everything. If somehow Riot could delete Veigar from everyone's memory, re-release him as a new champion, he would be played on the basis that he is just a new champion. And then we would hear how bullshit Event Horizon is. Why the fuck does this champion infinitely scale? LOL, Riot, KEKW Season 12. What the fuck? 2000 AP? Dude, Veigar just pressed R. My whole HP bar is dead. Dude, I can't fucking move. This champion's bullshit. Dude, why does Veigar wave clear the... Like,
Elise.
it's all just perspective. I don't know, man. Anyways, that's it.